Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 8:30 to 9 a.m. session of the 2022 OpenSimulator Community Conference. In this session, we are pleased to introduce the presentation Science Circle Grid, Online Collaboration and Home for Science Education. Our speakers are Augustin Martin Quasar, Agnomen, and Stephen Gasior, Stephen Xootfly. Augustin is an IT specialist at NGO, the Science Circle, and Stephen is a molecular biology scientist who taught classes and developed learning activities in Second Life and OpenSimulator. Please check out the website found at conference.opensimulator.org for speaker bios, details of the sessions, and the full schedule of events. The session is being live streamed and recorded, so if you have questions or comments during the session, you may send tweets to @OpenSimCC with the hashtag #OSCC22. Welcome, everyone. Let's begin the session.
Thank you, Lear, and it's wonderful to be back to this wonderful, exciting conference with so much going on at OpenSimulator right now. I recently was appointed to a board member of the Science Circle, so I'm here to represent them in their efforts in the OpenSimulator platform. The Science Circle is a multinational alliance of scientists, educators, students, and science enthusiasts collaborating to share knowledge and promote open source education around the world. We value dialogue with the community that promotes inclusion, diversity, and respect. And our mission is to enhance understanding and learning and to promote dialogue broadly across disciplines with an emphasis on the sciences within the context of a virtual environment that allows for participation on a global scale. And the group has been active in Second Life, accomplishing this mission for almost 15 years. And I certainly welcome everyone to check out our celebration we'll be having in February, which will be held in Second Life. But what's exciting now is that in the past few years, with the extra capabilities of OpenSimulator, with hypergridding, and with more content providers coming to the Science Circle grid, we have a revitalization as well as more content that we can use to accomplish our mission. Before we talk about the content and what's going on in the Science Circle, I'd like to pass the conversation on to Augustin, who has been with the Science Circle and with the Science Circle grid from the beginning, to talk a little bit about its history. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and welcome all. Nice to see a lot of people here at the conference. And yeah, Augustin Martin, and I'm here from the start. I think I started the Science Circle OpenSim environment in 2013. I think it was version 7.x. I'm not sure which version, but it was a version that was very old. So I discovered OpenSim and became enthusiastic with SL. And when IBM and Second Life did some testing and made the first hypergrid jump from Second Life to an OpenSim instance, so I was there and it was super cool. So those days OpenSim was not so stable as today, and a lot of features like profiles, group, etc. did not come out of the box. So you had to do something, and teleporting resulted often in losing hair or sometimes worse. So at the moment the Science Circle grid is running at 0.9.2 and is hosted on a VPS in Germany, and the regions are hosted in the Netherlands. So that's on a fast bare metal server. So we are now hosting around 20 regions, and there will be coming 4 extra regions this month. And we have a welcome center, sandbox, and builder estate. So we are hypergrid enabled. So everybody is welcome to visit. So Stephen, it's yours.
All right, thank you. So a little bit about my history in OpenSimulator as well is that after teaching in Second Life classes, I, along with some other educators, joined in on a venture by Intel called the Science Sim. But then we decided to do our own self-hosting with an in-house developed platform for hosting OpenSimulator grids ourselves. That was something that was enabled by Kira Komarov. Now, at the time, we were employed by various universities, and I will not go through all of the advantages of the old days of hosting computers on educational servers and networks, but suffice to say that in the past few years, the combination of enhanced security, as well as administrations being more liability conscious, we had to migrate and move away from that hosting system. And that's when, as we worked with the Science Circle, discovered that they were very happy and welcoming to host the content that Virtual Islands for Better Education had been developing. And that included the recreation of Genome Island for OpenSimulator, worked on by Marianne Clark. Again, I don't think I need to belabor for this crowd how wonderful Genome Island on Second Life has been, but that migration to OpenSimulator was accomplished in a short amount of time and had the advantages of being able to take a one region, very expensive Second Life island and spread it out into 4 islands. And so there's a different focus for each of the different islands, again, named after prominent biological scientists from history. And so again, I would like to just display a picture of this to remind people that these activities are scripted, fully enabled, and something that you can come visit or even use for your classes. And so again, Genome Island has been a mainstay and a highlight of science education in Second Life, and also is now present in OpenSim, now on the Science Circle grid. And Marianne Clark is still very active in participating in that. We also had archaeological content built up by Marion Smeltzer, known as Nova Saunders in World. And she has built up a multi-region display of various parts of archaeology, largely focused around her graduate education, which is in North America and in the vicinity of Pennsylvania. So she also built a very nice display that if people want an introduction to what archaeology is and what it's like to be an archaeologist and how the technology works, that's something she built into the landing site on Nova Archaeology, and then several regions that focus on archaeology and interactive displays with information displays in the other regions that are present there. Some highlights of her work includes the Lemon House, which was I believe a contracted bit of work for a society that wanted to have that as a virtual thing. And then also the Allegheny Railroad, which again, I've done in a bit of a sunlight environment setting, so that you can also see that what she has built into the region is not just recreating the archaeology, but trying to convey how archaeology works. And there's an inset picture of the original bridge that was being recreated. So these are also very much a self-guided tour that you can come visit, and there's lots of information displays and note cards that can help anybody learn or again have a guided discussion. So one of the recent additions from another archaeologist at Science Circle is from Skip Dahlgren, who's known as ABBA in World, and he built up Virtual Abyssinia, which is intended to be an archaeological museum and an introduction to the history of an important region, which is now current-day Eritrea, which at least twice contained kingdoms that were seen as world powers of their time and which are now largely forgotten. So again, everyone's heard about, ancient Egypt or the Babylonians, but there's a large wealth of archaeological kingdoms and history that are, I think, underserved in terms of modern day understanding. And so he's brought this to life with his build. And what I'm showing here in the left-hand part of the slide is that he's built it as a large mega region type build. So it can be all one large flat visible, no region crossing lines with some actually really interesting landscaping in the backdrop. And he's also very much built it so that people can come in with guided information displays, go through a tour of it with note cards and information to help you learn about the very important archaeology that is going on from his work and in the region. And I would like to display a couple examples of some very large and majestic builds from his region, which are reflective also of some actual real life historical builds that have been dug up, trying to recreate the entirety of stuff that we're getting from bits and pieces from the ground. So again, welcome you to visit that. And then the last new build is one that's close to, I think, everybody's heart. That's a science educator in Second Life, is a rebuild of the Exploratorium, originally by Patioplasma, who was in real life the late Paul Doherty. And so the Second Life Exploratorium with his passing also disappeared. And so, but we were able to capture some of that. Now, the Exploratorium is actually a real life museum in San Francisco. I have on the left-hand side a picture here of capturing a screenshot of a YouTube video of a young girl playing with one of the actual interactive displays. On the right-hand side is an example of one of the interactive builds that was in the Second Life Exploratorium as displayed in YouTube. And what we're happy to have here now for the Second Life, again, Robert Brown is helping rebuild these from bits and pieces we have from inventories, the Exploratorium on the Science Circle grid, something that we hope will be interactive, educational, informative, and of course, fun. So we hope that you can come visit. We'll let you know. We'll have a release announcement when we feel that is fully ready for everyone to come and explore. And I want to emphasize that the Science Circle is very interested in collaboration. We now have an OpenSim grid that could take advantage of all the things OpenSim has to offer, like building, the ability to let people access it from the hypergrid, that has engaging biology, physics, and archaeology. There's a lot of it that's self-guided. So again, you don't necessarily need to have us present to help you understand and use it for any sort of educational or activity. These are built by professionals in the field, right? So you know that you're getting high quality content, and they're also educators. So people have a sense of how to make sure you're learning from your experience by interacting with these. And then finally, the wider Science Circle membership includes scientists, doctors, educators, IT professionals, artists, and writers from around the world. So we can help connect you and contact you with other people that can help enhance the type of learning experiences you'd like to have from science. And we're just looking forward to enhancing the overall OpenSim platform with great science education. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for your interest, and Augustine and I are now happy to take any sort of questions.
Thank you. Great great session. You know, I saw a comment. It might not be a question, but how do the spheres toy work with your physics on the grid?
That would actually be a better question for Robert. He gave us a tour of some of the builds. Some of the physics stuff does work. If it works entirely as it's supposed to, I think we're still trying to make sure we're getting that working. So a little bit of that remains to be seen. Maybe Augustine can comment on it.
Yeah, he did some scripting, and he told me that it overall works and was correct, but he was still working on some little adjustments to make it working as it should be in real life. So he tries to reflect
Wonderful, thank
reality.
you. Right. And did you see the question come in from Olive Tree? How do we get a tour of the site, a guided tour?
I would say the first thing would be to email me, and I'll be the point person for taking those types of requests and passing it on to the people who are relevant. Let me put my email in the chat to make sure everyone explicitly has it here.
So to that point, is the grid locked down, or is it open to the public for Hypergrid?
It's open to the public for Hypergrid. We are restoring from a server crash that happened a month ago. So, but overall taken, everything is up again, and we are fixing a little, some little things. But it's open, and everybody is welcome to visit. So,
well, thank you. That was a great session.
Thank you very much, Lear. Great.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you all. Have a nice time.
As a reminder to our audience, you will want to check out the conference.opensimulator.org to see what is coming up on the conference schedule. After our 30-minute break, you won't want to miss our next session, which will begin at 9:30 a.m. in the keynote region, and it is entitled Minecraft for CLIL, an Excalibur Project. Also, we encourage you to visit the OSCC22 Poster Expo in the OSCC Expo 3 region to find accompanying information on presentations and to explore the hypergrid resources in OSCC Expo 2 region, along with the sponsor and crowdfunder booths located throughout all of the OSCC Expo regions. Thank you again to our speakers and to you, the audience.